Hello, I will continue with Act 3 of Julius Caesar. So, Act 3 is the climax of the play, where it is the most exciting part of the play, and Act 1 and Act 2 lead up to this particular point in the play, and it is the most exciting part of the play. So, Act 3, Scene 1. Flourish, enter Caesar, Antony, Lepidus, Brutus, Cassius, Cascar, Decius, Metellus, Trebonius, Cinna, Publius, Popilius, Artemidorus the soothsayer, and other senators and petitioners. So Caesar is on the way to the Capitol. There is a flourish of trumpets and other musical instruments to to signal his arrival in the Senate, and he has a number of followers, among whom are Mark Antony, Lepidus, Brutus, Cassius, Cascar, Decius, Metellus, Trebonius, Cinna, and Publius. And these are the conspirators. They've come to fetch him to the Capitol. There's also Popilius, Artemidorus, who is a commoner, and there's a soothsayer who had warned Caesar about the Ides of March, the 15th of March. And there are other senators and petitioners. So Caesar sees the soothsayer and he says, "The Ides of March are come." So the 15th of March has come, says Caesar. The soothsayer says, "I, Caesar, but not gone." So soothsayer says, "But the 15th of March has not ended yet." Artemidorus, "Hail Caesar, read this schedule." So Artemidorus is a commoner who knows of the conspiracy. So he has written a letter to Caesar, and he wants Caesar to read his letter so that Caesar can be warned about his coming end. So Artemidorus petitions Caesar to read his schedule or letter. Decius, "Trebonius doth desire you to overread at your best leisure this his humble suit." So Decius Brutus, one of the conspirators, interrupts Artemidorus, and he says that he himself has a humble suit. He has a petition to give to Caesar, and he asks Caesar to read it at his leisure. Artemidorus has become very insistent because he wants to save Caesar, but he's a commoner, and he becomes excited and he says, "Oh Caesar, read mine first, for mine's a suit that touches Caesar nearer. Read it, great Caesar." So Artemidorus insists on Caesar reading his letter first over Decius's, and he says that his letter concerns Caesar more, and he asks Caesar, "Read it, great Caesar." Caesar, "What touches us ourselves shall be last served." So Caesar says, whatever concerns himself will be put last, put at the end. Whatever concerns other affairs, the good of Rome, the good of the people, and so on and so forth, those shall be read first. So whatever concerns himself shall be put at the end. Artemidorus, "Delay not, Caesar, read it instantly." So Artemidorus insists he wants to save Caesar, so he raises his voice and almost orders Caesar, "Delay not, read it instantly." So Caesar, who is a great emperor, feels that Artemidorus has not got the right approach. So he says, "What is the fellow man? He's telling me to read his letter, and Publius gets in the way. Sirrah, give place. So he asks Artemidorus to make room so that the train following Caesar and Caesar himself can pass. Cassius, what urge you? Your petitions in the street, come to the Capitol. So Cassius tells Artemidorus that he should come to the Capitol because Caesar cannot accept petitions in the street. So Caesar goes forward, the rest following. So Artemidorus' chance is gone. So uh, uh, now Caesar is at the mercy of the conspirators. Popilius to Cassius, I wish your enterprise today may thrive. So Popilius Lena speaks to Cassius and he wishes that his Cassius's enterprise may succeed. Cassius innocently asks, what enterprise, Popilius? But Popilius doesn't answer. He says, fare you well. He walks away. Brutus, what said Popilius Lena? Now Brutus becomes concerned and he asks Cassius what Popilius Lena said. Cassius, he wished today our enterprise may thrive. I fear that our purpose is discovered. So Cassius says that Popilius Lena wished their plan that day might succeed, and he thinks that the plan, what they intend to do, their purpose has been discovered. Brutus, look how he makes to Caesar, mark him. So Brutus follows Popilius with his eyes, and he says that Popilius is going straight to Caesar. Cassius, Casca, be sudden, for we fear prevention. Brutus, what shall be done if this be known? Cassius or Caesar never shall turn back, for I will slay myself. So Cassius asks Casca to act as the as to act according to what happens next, because Popilius Lena may reveal to Caesar the plan of his assassination. So he fears prevention. So he asks Brutus what they can do, and he says, if the plan is known, he says, either Cassius or Caesar never shall live, or he says that he will kill himself, he will slay himself. So Brutus, Cassius, be constant. So Brutus asks Cassius to be calm. Popilius Lena speaks not of our purposes, for look, he smiles and Caesar does not change. So Brutus is watching Popilius and Caesar, and Brutus asks Cassius to be calm because as Popilius is speaking to Caesar, he smiles at Caesar, and Caesar's look does not change. So, if Caesar were to be warned about the coming assassination, then his expression would change. He would show fear and apprehension, and he would give orders for the conspirators to be taken into custody. But nothing of that sort happens, and Caesar's expression does not change. Cassius, Trebonius knows his time, for look you, Brutus, he draws Mark Antony out of the way. So the conspirators have actually planned what is going to happen in the Senate. Caesar enters the Senate, and according to the plan, once Caesar enters the Senate, Trebonius, one of the conspirators, should draw Mark Antony outside the Senate uh, on some pretext or the other, because Antony will actually uh, um, stall their plans. So Trebonius draws Mark Antony out of the way. Trebonius and Antony exit the Senate hall. Decius, Where is Metellus Simba? Let him go and presently prefer his suit to Caesar. So Odysseus uh, and the other conspirators talk among themselves. So they look for Metellus Simba, and Metellus Simba is going to present his suit to Caesar, which is that his brother, Metellus Simba's brother, who has been banished, should be given pardon by Caesar to return to Rome. That is how they will antagonize Caesar, so that once Caesar is once Caesar becomes outraged at the suit, they can stab him without any hindrance. Brutus, he is addressed. Press near and second him. So Brutus sees that Metellus Simba goes and presents his suit to Caesar, and he asks other conspirators to crowd round and support Caesar. Cinna, Casca, you are the first that rears your hand. So Cinna says that Casca should raise his hand first to stab Caesar. Caesar, are we all ready? What is now amiss? That Caesar and his Senate must redress. So Caesar takes his seat on the throne of the Senate, and he asks the senators to sit down, and he asks what is happening in Rome that Caesar and the Senate, that is a parliament, must set right. Metellus, kneeling, most high, most mighty, and most puissant Caesar, Metellus Simba throws before thy seat a humble heart. So Metellus begins his petition to actually it's to antagonize Caesar into rage and fury. So he begins his petition in a most humble tone, and he addresses Caesar as the most high, most mighty, and most brave. Puissant means brave or valorous, and he addresses Caesar and he says that he throws his request with a humble heart. Caesar guesses what Metellus Simba is going to say. So Caesar says, I must prevent thee, Simba. These couchings and these lowly courtesies might fire the blood of ordinary men and turn preordinance and first degree decree into the law of children. So Caesar says that he must prevent Metellus Simba from petitioning him. Metellus Simba is couching low, he is bending low before Caesar, and he's petitioning Caesar in a most low way. So Caesar says these sort of bowings and scrapings might make ordinary men change their mind, and they, the ordinary men, could turn preordinance, that is a law of Rome. Ordinance is a rule or a law, and they can turn the law and first decree, that is the some of the highest laws, into the law of children. So what Caesar means is that he has acted according to the rules, and he cannot change the laws of Rome into the laws of children. That is, he cannot change his mind to uh, repeal his banishment of Metellus Simba's brother. Be not fond to think that Caesar bears such rebel blood that will be thought from the true quality with that which melteth fools. I mean sweet words, low crooked courtesies, and base spaniel fawning. So Caesar tells Metellus Simba that his blood is not rebel. Rebel means it does not act against itself. He won't act against his own commands, he won't act against his own orders, and he won't change his mind. So he says that he does not bear blood that will that is the same as he does not bear blood that is the same as those which fools have. So whatever changes the mind of ordinary men, these sweet words, low crooked courtesies, and base spaniel phony. So, spaniel is a dog. So, just as a dog bows down before its master and makes the master happy, Caesar says that all these sort of all this sort of behavior won't change his mind. And he says, thy brother by decree is banished. If thou dost bend and pray and fawn for him, I spurn thee like a cur out of my way. So Caesar tells Cimber that Metellus, Cimber's brother, is banished by law, and if Metellus were to bend and fawn on Caesar, then Caesar will kick him out of the way like he would a cur or a dog. No, Caesar doth no wrong, not without cause will be satisfied. So he says that he doesn't do any wrong without cause, and he won't be satisfied without a reason. So Metellus, is there no voice more worthy than my own to sound more sweetly in great Caesar's ear for the repealing of my banished brother? Now Metellus appeals to the other conspirators, and he asks the other conspirators to second him. So he says his own request is rejected. So is there no one more worthy uh, to ask Caesar to ask Caesar to repeal the banished brother of Metellus Cimber? Brutus seconds him. He comes near Caesar and kneels. I kiss thy hand, but not in flattery, Caesar, desiring thee that Publius Cimber may have an immediate freedom of repeal. So Brutus uh, kisses the hand of Caesar and says he doesn't kiss it in flattery, but he desires that Publius Cimber, that is the brother of Metellus Cimber, may be able to return to Rome. Uh, and Caesar says, what, Brutus? Caesar is astonished because he did not really expect Brutus to second Metellus Cimber. Cassius kneeling, pardon Caesar, Caesar pardon. As low as to thy foot doth Cassius fall to beg enfranchisement for Publius Cimber. So Cassius also supports Metellus Cimber, seems to support Metellus Cimber, and he asks for Caesar's pardon, and he says that he falls as low as Caesar's foot, and he wants freedom from Publius Cimber. Caesar, I could be well moved if I were as you. If I could pray to move, prayers would move me. But I am constant as the northern star, of whose true, fixed, and resting quality there is no fellow in the firmament. And Caesar describes himself. He says, if I were a man like you and prayers could move me, then your prayer would move me. He said, would make me change my mind. But he says that he's constant as the pole star. The pole star is the only star in the sky that does not change its position, but all the other stars revolve around as the earth spins, the other stars seem to spin, but the pole star is right above the North Pole and it does not change its position. So Caesar says that he is as fixed and constant as the northern star, and the northern star, the pole star, is so fixed in the sky, it has such a resting quality that it does not have any other friend in the firmament. The firmament is the sky. And Caesar continues to describe himself. He says, the skies are painted with unnumbered sparks. They are all fire, and everyone doth shine. But there's one, not in all doth hold his place, so in the world. And again, he gives a description of the fixedness of the pole star, and he says, so in this world, so in the world also it is similar. He says, it is furnished well with men, and men are flesh and blood and apprehensive. Yet in the number I do know but one, that unassailable holds his rank, unshaken of motion. And he says that in the world there are many men, and men are just flesh and blood, and they are emotional, they are apprehensive, that is, they're liable to change. Uh, they're liable to change, but in all the among all the people of the world, Caesar says he knows but one that cannot be assailed, who is unassailable, that cannot be challenged, and he says that that man is unshaken of motion. That is, he does not change even a bit, and he says, I am he. So he describes himself as a constant, as a firm minded person, and who is like the pole star. And he says, let me a little show it, even in this, that I was constant, Simba should be banished, and constant to remain to keep him so. So he says that he had decided that Publius Simba should be banished, and he still keeps to his decision. Cinna, kneeling, O Caesar, hence wilt thou lift up Olympus, says Caesar. So Cinna kneels in front of Caesar, and Caesar says that he is like Mount Olympus. Mount Olympus was the mountain in Greek mythology on which the gods dwell. And he says that he is as firmly placed, he is unshakable like Mount Olympus. So he says, will you lift up Olympus? Will you help make me change my mind? Decius kneeling, great Caesar, does not Brutus bootless kneel? So Caesar asked Decius Brutus. Decius Brutus is not related to Marcus Brutus, and he says, does not Decius Brutus kneel without any result being given? So it's a bootless petition, it is a useless petition, it won't get any results, says Caesar. So Casca approaches Caesar and he says, speak hands for me. So he raises his hand and stabs Caesar. Casca strikes, the others rise up and stab Caesar. So all of them stab Caesar repeatedly. Then Caesar approaches Brutus. Brutus turns, and he also, with a malevolent, this evil look in his eye, he stabs Caesar. Caesar, who loved Brutus, who had the highest affection for Brutus, uh, cannot cannot keep his strength, and his last words are "Et tu, Brute." Then falls Caesar. So he says, "You too, Brutus." Then falls Caesar. So Caesar gives up the ghost because of the ingratitude shown by Brutus. So he dies.